Oh, okay. You're ready to start. Alice, can you hear me?
Okay, so hello everyone. My name is Elise Buckle. I'm the co-president of Climate and Sustainability and co-founder of SHEChanges Climate. I've been working on climate change for 20 years with the UN, with government, with civil society and private sector. And more recently, I've been more and more interested in the topic of women empowerment. As you know, we are facing a planetary emergency right now because of global warming. I think that most of you have seen the impacts of climate change, especially this summer with massive forest fires around the world, drought, and in some other places, some floods. And what we've seen is actually when women are included in decision making, we get better results for climate, but also for equity. And in terms of the private sector, when you have 50% of women on the board of companies, these companies perform better as well on financial performance. So we think that women are, of course, are being impacted by climate change, but there are also solutions multipliers. And our work as SHEChanges Climate is very much to empower women, to empower all of you to make some positive change for people and the planet. So I'm just going to share a quick presentation about who we are and what we do as SHEChanges Climate, and then I'll be happy to take some questions.
Great, thank you. Can you share your screen? Are you allowed? Yes, okay, perfect.
So I hope everybody can see. So our vision as SHEChanges Climate is a world where women in all their diversity are leading on climate decision making and are taking just decisions. Just decisions, it's also an issue of North and South equity. As you know, the developed countries have a historical responsibility, and the poorest countries are being impacted by climate change more than the rich countries. So it's about environmental protection, but it's also about equity between the North and the South, but also within each country. It's also about giving voice to the most vulnerable populations that are being impacted by climate change. I think you know what the Sustainable Development Goals are, but just in case you have all the colors there are 17 goals. They have been adopted by all countries around the world in 2015, exactly the same year when the Paris Agreement was adopted. And the SDG number 5 is about women empowerment and women and gender equity, because this is actually a condition for reducing poverty around the world and for advancing environmental protection. So we are a non-for-profit organization. We are very new to Cardano, but we're very excited about this opportunity to engage with the private sector, to engage with also people who just want to invest their money in something that, that makes sense for the collective good. We have this new proposal now that's ready for voting. It's called COP27 Elevating African Leadership. It's part of the Grow Africa, Grow Cardano portfolio. And we're very excited because it's our first time engaging in blockchains, in technology and finance. And we think that actually these are all the ingredients of success: women empowerment, technology, finance, and of course, having the heart at the right place, being driven by the collective good for people and the planet. What we do is that we are, as I said, a platform of collaboration for about 400 women around the world who are decision makers. And we are advocating for a higher level of female representation in all decision-making levels. So at the local level, in government, in companies, but also for COP27 at the level of the presidency of COP27. So we are talking to the COP27 presidency, which is Egypt this year. We've made a lot of progress lately, and so we have this very high level advocacy strategy that's going to the president of the COP and the high-level champions. But we also have campaigning and bottom-up support through our social media network. Last year, we actually had an outreach of 154 million views. So we're very excited about the potential to grow even more this year. And we want to engage with the Cardano for Climate community and Cardano Women. We feel that we have a lot in common, actually. And I was so happy and pleased to be introduced to your network by Juliana, who's been very helpful. And I would love to get to know you better, actually, because we also have a mentoring program where we are putting in touch women who are in a position of power or who have a lot of experience with women who are working in the developing world in particular, who don't have that much experience and who need coaching and support. So we are also looking for mentees and mentors. I know that you also have a mentoring program on your side. So I feel we have actually the same DNA and we have a lot in common. Okay. So something I just mentioned in the introduction is that women are being impacted by climate change more than any other groups. As a woman, you would have 14 more chances to die in an extreme weather event compared to a man. And also 80% of climate refugees are women. So of course, this is something that sometimes we forget about. Maybe now people are more sensitive to that because actually, if you look at the war in Ukraine, it's very similar. 90% of the refugees coming from Ukraine are women and children, actually. And so women are vulnerable to climate change, but women are also decision makers and solutions multipliers. And that's what we want to do. We want to highlight the importance of women as actors of change. Unfortunately, as you know, there's still a lot of work to do because only 10 countries have a woman as a head of state. In terms of the parliaments, only 26% of the members of the parliament are women. And if you look at the delegates attending COP, well, last year only 1/3 were women. And for the heads of delegations, that's even less, that's 27%. So there's still a lot to do to highlight the importance of women as decision makers and as change makers. This is why we are working very hard on our vision, which is a 50-50 vision at the top. So what we are asking the COP27 presidency to do is to appoint at least 50% of women on their team. They are actually making some appointments right now. There are 3 very influential women who are ministers in Egypt who are now joining the COP presidency team. And we actually have a lot of facts and data. There has been a lot of research showing that when you have women taking part in decision making, also in national parliaments, this has a huge influence on the kind of policies and legislations that are being passed, in particular on climate change. So you may have heard about Jacinda Ardern, who is the Prime Minister of New Zealand. She's done a lot for the 2050 vision for New Zealand to reach carbon neutrality by 2050, but also to invest in health and education for children who are really the next generation of leaders who will need to tackle this crisis. What is very important for us as well is to be very inclusive and to value diversity. It's not about excluding men from the boardroom, not at all. Our vision is that to win this fight against climate change, we need to be men and women together because we are very complementary. And also when you improve governance in companies, you make sure the best people are being appointed, and you make sure that it's not about, okay, who is friend with whom. And this is true for men and women. You look at the qualifications and the skills of these people. And actually, a lot of times you have women who are overqualified. It's just that they are lacking the confidence to go for these kind of jobs, to go for being elected as a president or as a board member. So there's also a lot of training and mentoring to do, as we said before. But also there's a lot of actually education to do to make sure that men don't feel threatened, that it's really about building a partnership, what we call a radical partnership, when we are together on the same boat to address this issue that is so important for the future of humanity. This idea of radical partnership is that the climate emergency is so, now it's the time is really counted, and we must go beyond our egos and beyond our logos and institutional boundaries and work together as one big family. We have just one planet, our only home, and we want to work as one team, all of us together, and with all of you actually from Cardano to address this challenge. Something we often say is that women rise by lifting each other. So what we want to do now for COP27 is we're going to host an online summit, a Climate Ambition Women Leaders Summit. And we want this to be very inclusive. So because a lot of people actually can't travel to Egypt for COP27, I'm quite lucky because I have an accreditation now, I can go. But the UN has received 35,000 applications for accreditation, and they're only giving 8,700 accreditations. So what we will do is just before the start of COP27, we will host an online summit with women leaders from around the world, with ministers, heads of states, CEOs of companies, civil society leaders. And we want to connect the women who have power with women who don't have power, who are, for example, women entrepreneurs in Africa who want to scale up nature-based solutions, who wants to develop a small business for agriculture and for food security. And they don't always have access to the finance, to the visibility, to the media, the media campaigns that can help them to be better recognized in their work. And so it's really about women rising by lifting each other, by connecting women in a powerful position with women who are solutions multipliers on the ground, but don't always have access to funders and big influencers. So as I said, last year we have reached out to 144 million, and we are hoping that the summit in November will bring a lot of people together. If we win the bid now with Cardano, of course, all of you will be invited to join this summit as well. And we have a short film, which you will find, it's available on the proposal that we filed with Cardano. So please do go online and you can actually watch this film. It's a 7-minute film, which explains very well what we've done so far and why women empowerment can really help us to solve the climate crisis. This is our plan for this year, but also beyond 2022. As I said, this year we have been targeting the COP27 presidency, in particular His Excellency Shukri, who is the Minister of Foreign Affairs, who is in charge of appointing people on the team. We are hosting this Climate Ambition Leaders Summit, which is really where we need the support in terms of finance and technology. We have a massive social media campaign coming up as well. For next year, we're actually already developing the mentoring program. It's called B1 program with 10 mentors and 10 mentees. And next year, we will want to scale it up to have a lot more people joining. For the summit, we might do it again next year, but we'll see if there is progress on the inside, if we have a partnership with the UAE, that will be the next president, or if we keep it as an alternative space outside the COP. And of course, we will be monitoring progress because the COP27 presidency is now developing a new gender action plan, and we want to make sure they keep their promises and they actually walk the talk. So that's looking a little bit longer term. This is why I think we're going to file more proposals with Cardano in the coming years. But of course, this year is really critical because we are in a kind of startup phase, and we had to succeed in 2022 to continue towards 2026. And yes, we also want to work with corporations, in particular in 2024. We actually have a new partner now. It's called 1% for the Planet. It's a fund that was created by the CEO of Patagonia, and it's a lot of companies that commit to giving 1% of their profit to climate action. So we're very excited. This is starting in September. And we have just one company that's going to sponsor us for now. And we are hoping that many more will join us. And of course, if we have the partnership with Cardano, that will also help to get more companies and more funders on board. I think that's all for now. I'm ready to answer your questions. You can also send us an email, hello@SHEChangesClimate.org. We have a small but very dynamic team. We are actually 3 co-founders, myself, Bianca Pitt, and Antoinette Vermillet. The 3 of us are quite senior in this field, and we just recruited 2 young professionals, 2 women who are very talented. One is based in South Africa and the other one in London. But yeah, we have limited resources, so we can only pay them 10 hours a week. But we are a team of 5 as our core team. Of course, our partners, we have, as I said, 400 partners from around the world. And now we just need the capacity to really manage this community. And that's why we need your support. You can also find me on LinkedIn. My name is Elise Buckle, so you will find my profile, and feel free to drop me a message there as well. I will respond as soon as possible. And thank you so much for your time. I hope it was okay. And yes, very open to questions.
Thank you. That was an amazing presentation. I guess we have some questions here.
Questions or comments? Thank you so much, Elise. It's been a while. I've seen your name on your proposals. I have your proposals set up in our Cardano for Climate slide deck. But with 200 proposals, it's so hard. 200 proposals alone, social and environmental impact. It's hard to make these connections. So I'm so thankful for this opportunity to actually see you face to face and hear about you. And I believe this is the beginning of something quite amazing coming up. Yoram's messaging me back and forth, and it's like, how do we get you to present at Cardano for Climate meetups Wednesdays and showcase what you're doing? It needs to be, you can't get lost in idea scale. You know, your project cannot get lost in there because it's 1,100 proposals. It's too easy to see that they get missed. Juliana, it's fantastic that you're making this connection and drawing this out to present today. So not really a question, but thank you. Comments
thank
more.
you so much, Melanie. You made my day. It's so encouraging. And because it's hard work as well. And I'm so glad that we were able to meet both Yoram and Juliana. And they have been amazing, you know, helping us to file the proposal and meeting the deadline. And yes, I would be very happy to present it to more people. I must say my 2 co-founders, Bianca and Antoinette, are also really amazing. And we would be very happy to give them the floor as well. So yes, thank you, Melanie.
So next Wednesday, 3 p.m. UTC, it's our 1-year anniversary. We're having a birthday party for Cardano for Climate. And I think that you would be, you know, presenting somehow, you being there would be absolutely amazing. And Juliana as well. You know, I think that anybody, you know, everybody's welcome to come and celebrate, because the one thing that I've learned is that, you know, if we try and do this by ourselves, we become an island. We have to be open to collaborations, to letting go of our ego and let our heart really speak for what's important. And I believe maybe that's why women are so powerful in leadership, because we lead with our heart and let our ego kind of come down. We're kind of used to being, it's why these overqualified women don't feel qualified, because we've been used to our egos being pushed down and our hearts coming forward. At least in my case, in my life, that seems to be what it is. But Yoram, I think you've come off mute.
No, yes, thank you first of all for coming and presenting. And you know, it's one of the key things is how we bring, you know, great people and great communities that do so much, how we bring them and connect them to this technology that's supposed to bring this transparency, traceability, trust, right, validation, and really be an impactful technology. And even in Cardano for Climate, I mean, which we're trying to be very, very open community and led by, you know, women and so on, we still have very few women. So, I mean, and we're already over 300 and I don't know, 20, 30 in Discord, already 400 people already, community and very active one, but still not enough women. And focusing on the climate. So yeah, I mean, thank you for coming here, and really we need to see how to engage more. And it can be amazing to do it in the 1 year celebration. Actually, how we do this year and trying one of the objectives is how we bring to get more women engaged. And I think that can be a good sign, kind of, for the beginning of the new year of Cardano for Climate. Yeah. So anyway, there's money, and thank you. And I know that blockchain is not something that, you know, it's something that you are learning as well. So it's also our job as a community to make this connection, right, and create this, create this connection and onboard the right projects to here. So yeah, thank you for that. And we have Afia here also from WADA. I know you had a discussion with WADA in Africa with Mercy. So Afia is also here. Because the next COP27 is actually in Africa, yeah, so in Cairo.
In Sharm el-Sheikh, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll follow up on that.
EGIP is hosting, but basically they're hosting on behalf of the Africa region, and because the United Nations are appointing a different country every year, which is selected by their region. So that's really the COP of Africa. And we feel that, you know, Africa is so important. First, of course, the whole continent is being impacted by climate change, but there's also a lot of potential because, you know, the population is so young and it's developing very quickly. And there's also still, I think there's a lot of potential to develop technologies and finance to make sure that people have access to, you know, microcredit. I mean, we have these women entrepreneurs. There's a network called the Rallying Cry, and they are funding women entrepreneurs in Africa that want to develop nature-based solutions. And sometimes it's just as easy as growing their food in their garden and trying to sell the food on the market, and making sure you have more local food, because right now a lot of poor countries in Africa are importing cereals from Russia and Ukraine. And the prices have come up so much that people can't afford the food. So there is a food crisis. Of course, there is also the productivity of crop that is decreasing because of climate change. So there's a combination of the impacts of the war, the energy crisis, the food crisis, and climate impact. And women in Africa are most of the time responsible for putting food on the table for their families. And they have the solutions, but they need the support in terms of technology, finance, and also media attention. So that's what we want to do, basically to lift them up and support them. I mean, Cardano is such an amazing group. I hope that we get the support from around the world to scale up these solutions, really.
Where we can put the technology of Cardano, like we saw today in town hall, digital identity. So you start with that, right, and start recording what they are doing and start connecting, you know, better in finance, so they can actually get paid for that. And so there's a lot of system that can be built to support, you know, different projects like that. And I think that's where it's also very interesting to do some pilots on that. And WADA is working on a project like that in Ghana with you know, with Scott, and I'm also a little bit involved where most of the farmers are women farmers. There's 2,000 farmers there on Barbara supply chain, and most of the farmers are women. So I mean, and then we are doing a lot of pilots with the Cardano technology. So all of these things can, through collaboration, we can work on them together.
May I ask you, where are you based? Melanie, but also Shira, Megan, where are you all based?
St. Louis, Missouri, Midwest.
Sorry? Shira?
Oh, I just said St. Louis, Missouri, in the Midwest of the US.
Oh, right, US. And you, Melanie?
You'd have to go further west. I'm on the in BC, Canada, north.
Oh, wonderful, British Columbia.
Nori and I are not far apart.
Yeah, I'm also in British Columbia in Victoria, BC.
Oh, really?
About-
Amazing. My husband is from British Columbia, actually.
Oh, nice.
And, I spent a year at UBC 20 years ago, and we were just back, this summer we were in British Columbia because half of my family is there. And I love this part of the world. I feel actually there's such a strong connection there between people and nature, and also because of, I guess, the native culture. And yeah, with the Pacific and the mountains. And so that's interesting, actually. So
Very
my
good.
name
And
Buckle is from Canada, actually. I was
where is your husband from?
He was born in Victoria, actually, and he grew up in Terrace, and then we met in Vancouver at University of British Columbia. I was born in France, and our kids were born here in Switzerland. So they have 3 nationalities, French, Canadian, and Swiss. But I lived in different parts of the world. I started my career in the humanitarian sector. So I worked in Tajikistan, in Afghanistan. I worked in South America, in Chile, Colombia. Yeah, so I've been traveling a lot as well, and always passionate about people and the planet and development and climate action in particular. So yes. And you, Mohammed, where are you from?
Zachariah.
Oh, Zakaria.
Is that right?
Zakaria, Morocco or?
From Ghana, precisely northern part of Ghana, Tamale.
Ghana. Okay.
Yeah.
And Afia, you from Ghana too?
Yes, I'm in Ghana, based in the southern part, but I work hand in hand with Mohammed.
Mm-hmm. And you, Cole, Scotland or?
I'm from Salt Lake City, Utah, actually.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay, US.
Yeah,
And
US.
Megan? Where are you from, Megan?
She might be on mute. She's often
Okay.
on mute because I think she's at work.
I see.
She's Columbus.
Columbus, Ohio.
Okay. So we've got people from the US, Canada, and Africa and Europe. Exciting.
Juliana, where are you from again?
I'm originally from Bulgaria, but I live in the UK.
In the UK, so there you go.
Yeah, and then obviously in these hours, all the Eastern Hemisphere is like is sleeping now. So there are some communities from there.
Mhm.
And Yoram, I mean, you're also based here in Switzerland, but where are you from originally?
Yes, I'm originally Israeli, but
Ah,
I lived in Italy for many years, in France, and now also still in France, but on the border with Switzerland.
So you're representing the Middle East almost.
Yeah,
And married 20 years to a wonderful Argentinian lady.
Yeah,
20
years.
They
20
celebrate
years on Friday.
20 years on Friday.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, congratulations!
Thank you. And definitely she is the one with the harp, and I'm with the ego. So yeah, I relate to. She's laughing, Melanie. No, but
no,
yeah.
I think that it's genderless.
Yeah.
As far as, but women tend to be more heart-led. I could be wrong on that one. We're kind of, yeah, I believe it's genderless. Yeah.
Yeah. No, we have a lot of learn. We need to work together, right? So to make it happen. So
there's also the Cardano Summit coming in November. Elise, you know about that? And have you made connections with Dr. Mihaela Ulrich?
Not yet.
Okay, so this is definitely a connection that you have to make because there's this starting up of a impact portion at this Cardano Summit in Geneva, isn't it, Yoram?
No, it's going to be in Lausanne, actually. So very far.
Oh.
And the central global summit is going to be in November 19 to 21 in Lausanne.
Oh,
very close.
Okay, 19th to 21st. That's perfect. That's just when I'm back from COP27. So
ooh, that would
if
be
I'm not
good.
too tired, I will try to join, and actually I could report back on what happened there. that could be interesting.
Very interesting. And then Dr. M, maybe we can invite her to our birthday party too, Yoram. And,
yeah, I think it will be good to connect them there. There's definitely very strong connection. Definitely.
Yeah, be great. And then because I think I didn't know that Cardano Foundation had anything to do with impact until last summit. And you know, that's when these connections started making in October, I think it was. You know, they're talking about the carbon footprint of Cardano, tree planting efforts towards, and then Dr. M shows up and she's part of the strategic impact team. And it's like, I had no idea that it was. There was so much disconnect, and we're starting to come together more and figure out how we can do more of this. Okay, I'm rambling. I'm going to go on mute. Somebody
yeah,
else.
Nori, what about you? What do you think? Always saying smart things.
I think the summit is a great opportunity to showcase some of these things, and we should definitely get people in touch with the organizers. I think it's IOG, but it might be the Cardano Foundation this year. I'm not sure.
Sorry, and I was wrong on that. I think Dr. M is IOG, not Cardano Foundation.
Yeah, and I went to the summit last year, and it was the most amazing time just getting to meet all these people I've been talking to for like a year online, and just like finally, yeah, hanging out and like talking with everyone in the community. And yeah, it's a great time to really highlight all these important issues. So I would definitely suggest going. And if you want to look at last year's summit highlights, I actually just dropped in the chat. We created an article focusing on all the social, economic, and environmental issues at the summit last year. So that's something cool to check out as well.
That's really great. And, you know, I really believe in the cross-fertilization between sectors, between climate, between social impact, and of course, technology and finance. I think that's where you start to see the emergence of a systemic transformation when you have people from different sectors working together. And obviously, I mean, because I'm also passionate about this topic, I feel it's really urgent. It's so urgent that we have to go beyond these boundaries and find solutions that cut across the sectors and that cut across the boundaries as well, including national boundaries, and that cut across the gender. You know, we need men and women together, but also gay and lesbian community. I think we need to be open and value that diversity. And yeah, and people who are rich and people who are not rich working together. We need to just think that, I think, as you say, Melanie, you know, we need to do this work from the heart, because we're all human beings. We're all brothers and sisters sharing the same beautiful Mother Earth. And there's no time to lose now. We really need to focus on the survival of humanity. And that's what it's about. And the regeneration of life on the planet, because it can be very gloomy and doomy, and you know, it's easy to get very depressed when you look at what's happening on climate change, because it's accelerating also very quickly, as well as the biodiversity crisis. But the solutions are there. All of the solutions are there. We just need to scale them up. We need more political will, more finance, and we can do it. But we have to move fast and really focus on this goal together. So I prefer to be optimistic, but we have to be quick.
That's it. And it's also not just sustainable. We can't keep doing what we've been doing. We have to actually do better and regenerate. I copied some links here, a challenge that we put in, regeneration opportunity for Cardano. This would be an amazing example of women leadership taking on this challenge, $250,000, where we cooperate over limited resources. So it's not a proposal, it's a challenge proposal, but it's we hope that we have an actual challenge in Fund 10 specifically for this collaboration and regenerating, making things better than they were. And maybe we'll set up a model. I was thinking, well, I shouldn't be putting it in, and you said the word regeneration, and it's like, okay, that's a sign.
Yeah, that's so important. I mean, of course, we need to stop using fossil fuels, and that's really hard. But as you say, we can't keep going business as usual. So phasing out fossil fuels is one of our top priorities as SHEChanges Climate, and investing the money into trees, plantations, forests, ecosystem restoration, because without the carbon sinks, we won't get it done. You know, we need nature on board with us. At least 1/3 of the emissions that we need to reduce to reach the Paris Agreement goal have to be absorbed by forests, oceans, and ecosystems. So yes, stopping the bad habits and scaling up the positive solutions. And yeah, and of course, renewable energy is part of the mix as well. And peace, because you know, it's all connected as well. The war in Ukraine and Russia, it's a war based on fossil fuel and pipelines and having access to the sea. But this is also where women are so important. We have a lot of facts and data showing that when you have women that are at the negotiation table in peace talks, the truce is more likely to succeed. It has 63% more chance of lasting. So, and you look at these pictures in Ukraine, the peace talks, it's only men around the table. So you need both men and women. I mean, I'm not saying usually you have the army there, so usually military people are men, but if we want to have more peace in the world, we also need women involved in peace negotiations.
You see a much bigger picture. What a privilege to be here. Juliana, you have something, sorry.
No, that was such a great wrapping everything that we said today, and we're so grateful, Elise, for being here and for sharing your view. And thank you again.
No, many thanks to you. And I'll try to join next Wednesday then, Melanie. If somebody can send me the link and invitation, I'll do my best to join. I mean, Wednesday evening, I have my kids with me, but that's okay. I'll make it a priority. So see you next week.
Yes. Bye.
Take care.